Leo, let me be honest with you tomorrow, October 12th. Something big is lining up, and it's not just another date on the calendar. It's the kind of day that could make you literally spill your coffee, not out of clumsiness, but because something or someone crosses your path and leaves you speechless. You didn't land on this video by chance. You were drawn here, and somewhere inside, you already know that. Maybe you've been feeling a strange pull, a low hum of anticipation in the background of your everyday life. You sense change, but you can't quite name it. That's because it hasn't arrived yet. Leo, you've carried so much. People often see your strength, your confidence, your fire, but not the quiet heaviness you've managed behind closed doors. You've been holding it down for everyone, haven't you? Being the encourager, the leader, the one who has it all together. And still, a part of you has been waiting. Hoping. Maybe even praying that something would shift. That the story would finally turn your way. And now, here we are. Because it is turning. Tomorrow, the energy around you changes. It's subtle, but unmistakable. A glance, a message, a delayed encounter that suddenly arrives right on time. And I'm not here to hype it up for drama, I'm telling you this because I've felt this wave coming for weeks. The alignment is real. October 12th is a day where fate doesn't just whisper, it moves. That person you meet? They might not be someone new. They might be someone you didn't expect to see again. Or someone whose energy you'll recognize even before you fully know their name. This is not just another interaction. It's the kind of encounter that reminds you you're not crazy for holding on to hope. It confirms everything you've quietly believed about timing, connection, and divine orchestration. So I want you to take this in slowly. Breathe with me. You don't have to chase it. You don't need to change anything about yourself. The version of you that's been through the fire and still dares to love, that's the version the universe is responding to now. You might notice strange signs, repeating numbers, dreams that feel too vivid to ignore, a song that hits differently, or a memory that won't let go. Don't dismiss them. This is not your imagination playing games. It's a language. A kind of gentle code from something greater than us, guiding you back to what's real. I also want to say this, and really hear me when I say it. You deserve what's coming. Not because you've earned it through pain, but because you finally stopped pretending everything was fine and started being honest with yourself. That alone has cracked open the space for love, peace, and abundance to find you in ways you didn't know were still possible. If any part of this speaks to you, don't just scroll past. Comment below. Let this moment be your anchor. Write it out. I'm ready for the fated meeting on October 12th. Don't underestimate the power of declaring it. This isn't just for mites, for you. For your field, for your energy, for the part of you that needed confirmation today. And if you feel something rising in your chest right now, like you've just remembered something your soul already knew, stay with me. Stay with this video. Because what the universe is about to reveal next is nothing short of sacred. Leo, you've been carrying the light for everyone else for so long that somewhere along the way, you stopped noticing that your own flame was flickering. On the outside, you shine, always have. That's the thing about your sign. Your presence is magnetic, warm, inspiring. People look to you for strength. But let's be honest, sometimes that strength feels like a performance you're expected to maintain, even when you're running on empty. No one sees the quiet exhaustion of holding space for others when you haven't had space to feel what's going on inside yourself. It's not that you've been pretending, it's that you've gotten used to functioning in survival mode, wearing resilience like a second skin. Right now, though, something inside is shifting. The kind of change that doesn't scream, but hums a low, steady reminder that you are more than your outer role. This is the phase where the inner light begins to reawaken it with a dramatic flare, but with a calm, grounded glow. It's subtle, but it's sacred. And it's real. Astrologically, this makes perfect sense. The Sun, your ruling planet, is passing through a period of reflection and recalibration under the influence of Libra's balanced air. And Venus, the planet of love and worth, is whispering truths back into your heart, truths you may have pushed aside in order to keep going, to keep giving, to keep being strong. But here's the truth you need to hear now: you're allowed to receive. You're allowed to not always be the one who uplifts, guides, or holds it all together. You're allowed to be the one who's held. Somewhere along the line, perhaps you internalized the idea that love must always be earned. That your value is in what you provide, not in simply existing as you are. But love the kind you've quietly been craving, just not a reward for performance. It's a response to presence. Your presence. And that is more than enough. In the language of tarot, this is the Strength card in its mature form. Not just courage in action, but the kind of power that comes from knowing yourself deeply, shadows and all, and choosing not to abandon yourself anymore. And paired with the Star, this moment becomes not just about endurance, it becomes about renewal. Healing. Hope that doesn't feel like a fantasy, but like a quiet remembering of what you've always known to be true, that your heart is meant to be seen, not hidden behind the curtain of competence. This is why your inner light is changing frequencies. Because you're no longer asking, what do I need to do to be loved? You're now asking, what does it feel like to love myself, without condition? And that question, however quiet, has the power to change everything. It's the question that tells the universe you're ready to stop running and start receiving. So pause with me here. Really pause. Take 3 deep, conscious breaths. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw unclench. Notice the weight you've been carrying and ask yourself, is it mine to hold anymore? If the answer is no, then it's time to start letting go. And not in one dramatic gesture, but breath by breath, choice by choice, moment by moment. Tomorrow, you'll be asked to stay open. To let the light within you be soft, not performative. To allow someone to truly see you not for what you can give, but for who you are when you stop giving. And to prepare for that, I invite you to write down 3 things you're grateful for about yourself, not your accomplishments, but the small, quiet things that make you. You. This is how we rebuild trust with the parts of us that have felt forgotten. This is how your inner light grows steady again. And if this part of the message stirred something in you, if it made you exhale a little deeper or close your eyes for just a second, then tell me in the comments below. Write, I'm ready to reconnect with my light. Let it be your signal. Let it be your sacred yes. Because this is no longer about chasing the sun. This is about becoming it. You might not expect it when it happens. It could be in the middle of your ordinary routine, a familiar coffee shop, a grocery store aisle, a quiet moment on your lunch break when the world feels still for no reason at all. And then, your eyes meet someone else's. You pause, longer than usual. Not because they're familiar in the traditional sense, but because something in you just knows. It's not déjà vu, not quite. It's more like your soul standing up straight inside your body, whispering, "Pay attention." This is what I mean when I say the person who appears is not a coincidence. There are meetings that are purely random, and then there are the ones that are written coded into the fabric of your journey, long before you realized you were even searching. In astrology, when the moon trines the sun like it does now, something powerful opens within us. Our intuition sharpens. Our emotional clarity softens. This is when we become more likely to recognize a soul-level connection not with our eyes, but with something deeper, our resonance. There's a reason the Two of Cups and the Lovers appeared together in the energy around you. This isn't about romantic drama or temporary chemistry. This is alignment. This is spiritual recognition, the quiet, magnetic kind that doesn't need fireworks to be real. It's the kind of love that doesn't ask for credentials or rehearsed charm. It just shows up, and when it does, the parts of you that used to feel too much or too tender will finally make sense in someone else's presence. Numerologically, the energy of the number 6 brings healing through partnership. It's not about fixing each other, but about creating a space where healing happens naturally because safety is present. And the number 9? It tells us that something old, some pattern, belief, or heartbreak is closing for good, making space for the kind of connection that doesn't just fit into your life, but redefines it. If this sounds idealistic, I understand. You've probably been through enough to feel skeptical. But let me tell you something from experience, not as a theorist, but as someone who has worked with thousands of people navigating their most tender spiritual thresholds. The soul knows. Long before the mind catches up. And when this kind of energy is active in your field, the only mistake you can make is trying to control it. Don't overthink. Don't try to act a certain way or second-guess your instincts. The person coming in doesn't want your best performance. They want what's real. And if that scares you a little, that's okay. Being seen, truly seen, can feel raw at first, especially when you're used to hiding parts of yourself to keep things safe. But this connection isn't here to judge those parts. It's here to hold them, gently. So if you feel emotion rising when the moment comes, don't suppress it. Let it move. Let it speak. Emotion is the soul's language, and when you silence it, you block the very current that brought this connection into your life. I'd love to ask you something. Have you ever felt someone's presence before you even met them? Like you were being guided toward a person without knowing their face, just the feeling of them? If that resonates, I invite you to share in the comments. Write it out. Anchor the energy. Because sometimes, acknowledging what you've always sensed is the first step toward allowing it to finally arrive. And maybe, just maybe, tomorrow is the day your soul finally says, "There you are. I've been waiting." It's strange how the seeds we plant in moments of quiet perseverance can bloom at the most unexpected times. You may not have realized it, Leo, but some of your past efforts, those long hours no one saw, the resilience you didn't post online, the silent moments of discipline when no applause followed, are about to come full circle. The energy you've poured into your work, your craft, even your inner healing, has not been wasted. It's been stored like currency in an energetic account, and right now, the universe is preparing to release its interest through recognition, opportunity, and the kind of financial flow that feels earned and steady. When Jupiter and Saturn form a harmonious trine like they are now, it creates what I call cosmic dividends. Jupiter expands, Saturn stabilizes. Together, they reward consistent effort with tangible results. This isn't about instant success or lottery-style luck. This is the kind of breakthrough that feels satisfying because you know the foundation underneath it is solid. The job you almost gave up on. The idea you shelved. The person you sent that message to but never heard back. Check again. Something has shifted. Tarot confirms this energy with the Ace of Pentacles card of grounded new beginnings. But what most people miss about this card is that it rarely shows up without history. The Ace isn't just about a new chapter, it's about a reward that feels like stability. It's the sprouting of a seed you may have even forgotten you planted. And the soil is ready now, not because life got easier, but because you've become more aligned with what truly matters to you. That's why this opportunity will feel different. It won't be a sprint. It'll be a door quietly opening that leads to somewhere real. This is the perfect time to reconnect with your resources, not just financially, but energetically. Start with your budget. Where are you still spending emotionally? Where are you buying peace of mind instead of creating it? Cut out the noise. There's clarity in simplicity, and it's in that space that money can begin to flow in more intentional ways. Check your inbox. That one email or message you've been ignoring might hold more value than you think. People remember those who show up authentically, and someone's been thinking about how you did just that. Now is also the time to rewrite the script around your abundance. Not from scarcity or desperation, but from calm confidence. Say it with your full body, I am attracting wealth naturally and effortlessly. And if that feels like a stretch, say it until your nervous system gets used to the sound of it. Because money isn't just about figures, it's about how safe and seen you allow yourself to feel while receiving. You might notice you're drawn to the color green lately, not just any green, but that clear quartz shaded green that feels like renewal. That's no accident. Green, especially in the tone of aventurine or clear peridot, aligns your energy field with growth, healing, and prosperity. Wear it. Eat it. Surround yourself with it. This isn't superstition, it's resonance. You're aligning with a vibration that says, I'm ready for more, but not more chaos, more meaning. What's most important now is not to chase. This energy doesn't respond to grasping. It responds to clarity. Define what abundance means to you, not just in dollars, but in peace, in flexibility, in impact. Then move toward that version of success. Quietly. Consistently. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The right people already see you. The right doors are already being unlocked. You just need to walk through them with your head high and your energy clean. And if reading this sparked even a little sense of remembering in you, I invite you to write it out below. Type, I'm ready to receive what I've earned. Let that be your contract with the universe. Not to beg, but to allow. To say yes. Because Leo, you haven't been overlooked. You've been prepared. And now, it's time. There's a quiet moment, often in the middle of the night or right before the day begins, when you feel something brushing against your spirit, not a hand, but a memory, a whisper, a deep and wordless knowing. That moment is where this part of the journey begins. You've walked through uncertainty, carried the weight of unanswered prayers, and ask the question that so many spiritual seekers have whispered in the dark: is anyone guiding me? The answer doesn't always come in thunder. Sometimes, it comes as a song on the radio at the exact moment you needed it. Sometimes, it's a number 888, 44, 1212 repeating itself so often you can't ignore it. These are not random. They are cosmic breadcrumbs leading you back to yourself, back to the guidance that's been with you since before you knew how to ask for it. The energy right now is rich with presence, not just your own inner voice becoming clearer, but the protective and patient presence of ancestral support. For many, this may come in the form of dreams about a grandmother you haven't seen in years, or a sudden sense of calm that arrives when everything should feel chaotic. The stars are moving in a way that lifts the veil between the seen and unseen. When we speak of a spirit guide, we're not always speaking about angels with wings. Sometimes it's your great-grandmother's prayer that still lingers in the room. Sometimes it's your own soul from a past version of you, trying to tell you, you're safe now. You may feel a need to revisit emotions that have long been buried, sadness you dismissed, grief you silenced, even joy you never allowed yourself to fully feel. That's not regression. That's recovery. Real healing asks you to walk back into the rooms you locked and sit with your younger self. One of the most profound practices I can offer you right now is to write a letter not to someone else, but to the version of you that needed love and didn't receive it. Pour the truth onto paper. Speak kindly to yourself. Forgive yourself not because you were wrong, but because you were human. This is where emotional healing deepens, not in performance, but in presence. Choose one gentle act this week to care for yourself like someone sacred. It doesn't have to be big. Make yourself a nourishing meal. Play music that vibrates in the key of your heart. 432 Hz is a good place to start. Draw a bath with salt and let the water hold you like the universe has been trying to. These aren't luxuries, they are rituals of return. You are not meant to abandon yourself in the name of survival anymore. You've made it through the storm. This is the season of tending. If you've seen repeating numbers or had a dream that left you feeling watched over, don't dismiss it. Sit with it. Ask what the message might be. Sometimes the answer will come immediately. Sometimes, the answer is the feeling itself. There's a deep intelligence in your body and your energy field, one that remembers what your mind may have forgotten. You're being guided, not controlled. That's the difference. You're being invited to co-create, not obey. And remember, you don't have to do more to be more. This is the time to come home to yourself, not rush to perform for a world that forgot how sacred stillness is. If someone shows up in your dream or you feel called to reconnect with an old photo, trust that impulse. It could be your spirit nudging you toward reconnection, completion, or closure. Healing doesn't always look like joy. Sometimes it looks like sitting in silence long enough for your heart to speak. So, pause and reflect. When was the last time you truly gave yourself permission to feel it all without judgment? Are you willing now to say hello to the emotions you once ran from? What's one small thing you can do today to show your soul you're listening? Share with me below. Have you seen the numbers? Felt the signs? Let this be your sacred space to speak. And if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and stay close, because this journey isn't meant to be walked alone. Eternal mindfulness is your space of remembering. And so, after the quiet realizations of inner healing and those gentle signs that someone beyond the veil still watches over you, we arrive at the part most people tend to overlook: the doing. The part that whispers, not shouts. It's easy to wait for the big break, the thunderclap, the jaw-dropping miracle. But what if the smallest shift is what stirs the ocean? One of the most powerful secrets I've learned, both in my own journey and guiding thousands through theirs, is that the universe responds not to perfection but to participation. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It waits for you to begin. When you make a tiny shift in your physical world, you ripple something massive into your energetic one. Move your desk to face sunlight instead of the wall, and you may find clarity knocking on your thoughts. Light a candle before you write, and you might just ignite a new idea. Rearranging a corner of your room isn't trivial, it's a declaration: I'm ready to make space for what's coming. You see, energy needs a vessel. Miracles need a moment to land in. That's why I often suggest choosing one simple action to symbolize this inner readiness. 5 minutes of mindful movement each morning. Playing a piece of music that lifts your spirit. Writing your ideal day in your journal, not as a fantasy, but as a memory you're creating in advance. This isn't about scripting the universe. It's about aligning your vibration with the version of you that already has what you're asking for. The one who already feels joy, peace, love, wealth, even in the waiting. So many people ask me, when will it happen? My answer is always the same: it begins when you stop waiting and start becoming. Don't wait to feel secure before you start enjoying life. Choose joy now, and security will be drawn to your light. Don't wait for the perfect sign before acting. Your action is the sign. This is where the magic lives, in movement. Think of it like waking up a garden. You don't shout at the seeds to grow. You water them, you move the soil around, you step back and let the light in. That's what writing your ideal day does. That's what putting on a color that makes you feel powerful does. That's what repeating your personal mantra, I am ready for all beautiful things to enter my life, does. These aren't small. They are sacred. The law of attraction doesn't just answer what you want. It answers who you're being while you want it. And the moment you start being, not chasing, you collapse time. That's when things speed up. That's when divine timing becomes your timing. Now I want you to pause for a moment and ask yourself, what is one small action I can take today that says, I believe it's coming? Maybe it's lighting incense and sitting in silence for 2 minutes. Maybe it's sending an email that's been in your drafts. Maybe it's finally booking that trip, starting that savings jar, or changing your phone wallpaper to your dream home. Choose something. Anything. And let it carry your signal. And if your heart whispered, yes, during any part of this message, don't let the energy fade. Anchor it. Seal it. Declare it. Type in the comments below, I am ready for the fated meeting on October 12th. Let the world and the universe see you showing up. Because your miracle isn't lost. It's just waiting for your signal. Dear Leo, maybe this morning your coffee was just another sip, another routine start to a long day. But what if tomorrow, that very sip becomes the sacred pause between everything you've been waiting for and everything about to arrive? The energy around you is shifting, not because you're chasing some fantasy, but because your spirit finale has stopped hiding. You're not running toward destiny anymore. Destiny is walking to you. Quietly. Softly. Purposefully. And maybe it knocks not with thunder, but with something as ordinary as a spilled drink, a delayed message, a new face that looks oddly familiar. You've done the work. Not just the outer hustle, but the unseen healing, the crying in silence, the forgiving without an apology, the believing when nothing showed up to justify the belief. And now, the universe is responding not because you're perfect, but because you're ready. Truly ready. Not desperate, not waiting, but open. You are no longer seeking validation or signs from the outside. Your soul already knows. It's been whispering, you are the invitation, not the seeker. You are the light, not the spotlight. You are the center of a new alignment, and it is time. So I ask you, know if the blessing really comes tomorrow. If the phone rings, or the email arrives, or the quiet miracle shows up at your feet, will you recognize it? Will you pause long enough to let it land? Or will you talk yourself out of it, thinking it's too soon, too much, too good? Let today be the last time you doubt your worthiness. You are not being rewarded. You are being restored. And Leo, there's a frequency inside you that has been calling back every good thing meant for your relationships that nourish, opportunities that fit your growth, wealth that honors your energy, peace that stays even in chaos. None of it comes because you force it. It comes because you've finally said, I am ready to live as who I really am. No more shrinking. No more pretending. No more waiting for signs when your heart is already the map. If your spirit feels stirred right now, if a part of you just whispered, this is for me, then write it into your reality. Affirm it. Anchor it. In the comments below, tell the universe, I open my heart to receive love, opportunity, and miracles on October 12th. Let this be your digital signature, your energy saying, I claim this moment. And if this message touched you, if it reminded you of what you've forgotten about your own light, please like this video and subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness so you never walk this path alone. We are a family here, a spiritual field of clarity, healing, and breakthrough. And I'll be here with you, guiding every step until your coffee doesn't just spill but overflows with magic.